What's up, Ty?
What's up, dude?
What's been going
What
on,
made
man?
it happen?
You've been
Doing music, living life, trying to stay out of trouble.
like a good boy should, right? But you can't be too good a
Yeah,
boy
something like that.
because then you wouldn't have any lyrics to write about, right? So
This is true. Yeah.
We'll talk about a few things, but first we'll go ahead and talk about the new album.
All right.
So I did just listen to it, as you know, and I want to say I liked it even more than the new Depeche Mode album. I liked it quite a bit.
Oh shit. Oh, dude, thanks, man. Wow, thank you.
Yeah.
I haven't even heard their new album yet, but I saw everyone talking about it, so I should probably check it out. But
No, it's good.
thanks, man. Yeah. I just I've been doing the project for a few years now, and it's gone through like a bunch of changes, and it started out totally different, and then it's sort of over the last couple of years evolved into what it is now. And I've been just doing singles, and I wanted to I really wanted to get it. It's like if you went to Spotify, I felt like it was confusing because there was like different singers, and you couldn't find everything kind of cohesively in one spot. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna grab the songs that I felt were the strongest from the last couple of years and just put them all in one place, kind of clear out the clutter and just consolidate everything and bring it up to speed. And there were some songs that I'd done and put out already, and over time I was listening to them and just hearing things I wanted to improve upon. You know what I mean? I'm like, I think I could do this better. I think this mix should be better, etc. So I went back and fixed up some things, re-recorded some stuff, and then I had my buddy David Nazi master it. And so yeah, it was like, okay, this is a more definitive statement of like what this whole thing is as of now, so yeah, man.
So Raygun Romance, is that your solo project, or is this like you want this to be your band, your project from now on? Like what's the goal?
Yeah, this is me. This is what I'm doing. It's like, it's my baby. It's like I put everything into it. Yeah, absolutely.
What are the like how far back does it go? The idea of it and even the name and.
Okay, so yeah, it originally started in 2019. Well, like towards the end of 18, I was starting to get like the creative itch because I hadn't done anything, and like creatively I hadn't done anything in a while at that point. I was just doing Powerman, and that was like totally satisfying. I was getting all my kicks out in that, but I wasn't doing anything. I wasn't writing for that band or anything. I was just doing the live game.
Yeah.
And so I started to I had some old demos I was fucking around with, and and I kind of started to get some of them and like rework them, and like I knew I just really started to get like I want to do something kind of electronic and like less guitar oriented, and so I started. That's initially where it started, and then once I had like a group of songs together that I was like, yeah, I want to try to put these out. It was like early 19, and as far as the name goes, I just was trying to come up with something that was like sexy, futuristic, and cool all at once. That was my thought process, and it just sort of popped into my head. And I was like, I think that works. That works. Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
And I was like, I was like, somebody probably has it. I'm like, has to be taken. And I Googled it and like kind of searched around, and like I didn't see it anywhere. So I was like, all right, I'm using it.
Okay.
Yeah. And the initial idea at that time was it was just going to be a studio project. And like, I was never planning on doing it live. I obviously was not singing at that time at all. That wasn't even on my radar at all. At all. Like, not at all. And I was like, oh, I contacted this female singer that I knew from the MySpace days. And I hit her up and I was like, hey, would you be down to do this project with me? It was kind of a hired gun thing. And she was like, yeah, sure. And so that's how it started. And then as it went, and then I met the producer, mix engineer, David Nazi, who's awesome, AKA Mix Bus TV. And he was on board too. And he helped me sort of like he helped me a lot in the beginning. He was like helping me get better sounds, and just like he mixed it, he mastered it. And then once those tracks came out, I just was doing singles at the time. There was like 6 of them, and I put them all out. At the end of that, then the singer she was already doing her own thing, so she went back to doing her thing, and I wanted to keep going. I was still writing music, and it was like I was super excited about it. But now I didn't have a singer, so I was like, well, what am I gonna do? I'll just get guest vocalists on every track. I'm like, I'll just hit up the people I like, and that's what I'll do. And I quickly realized that was not sustainable and like going to be a giant pain in the ass. But it worked for a couple. I got like Danny Blue on a song, and I got Clint Carney from System Sin on a song, and those are killer songs. I'm super happy with them. But the process of getting that together and working with their schedule, and like it took forever. Like it was, and I wanted to like go like today.
Yeah.
Like, let's go. And you know, they're doing me a favor, so I totally get it. And I didn't mean that in any shitty way at all. I was like antsy and wanting to do stuff, you know. So anyway, so once I just hit a point of frustration where I was like, man, I can't keep chasing people around, and I want to move this project forward. I'm writing music, and I like, fuck it, I'll try and sing. I was like, I'll do a cover song, and maybe that'll work. But it was like a total on a whim. I totally doubted it. I'm like, nah, this won't work. I'm like, this will not fly. Yeah. And so I know it's a long-winded answer, but so
that's okay.
so then I borrowed a microphone from my buddy David, and I just tried to record something at home. It sounded pretty rough, but I also was like, I think if I tweak it enough, I think I can get away with this. And so I just kept kind of doing it at home. And I initially recorded a cover of that Goo Goo Dolls song, Naked. And I just reworked it into like this synth thing. And I showed it to my mom, and her knee-jerk reaction wasn't terrible. So I was like, because she's usually pretty harsh. And like, so then I was like, okay, that's a good sign. And then I showed it to somebody else, and they didn't like say it was terrible. So I'm like, okay, I think I might be able to do this, you know? And then so that kind of kickstarted the whole me singing thing. And then I was also, out of necessity, I just started trying to mix and master my own stuff, because my buddy David was getting more busy, and like I wasn't working, and I just couldn't afford to like pay for every single song, you know?
Sure.
So I was like, fuck it, I'm going to start trying to do that on my own. And yeah, so I did that over the last couple of years, and it just kind of grew into what it is now, you know? And yeah, so the singing thing just came out of, it kind of just happened by accident, but now I'm like super into it, and I really dig it, and it's really fun. Yeah.
So whenever you do go live, are you going to be singing and playing guitar, or are you just going to try and focus on the vocals?
Oh yeah, there's no guitar in any of the new stuff. So there won't be any live guitar. It'll just be vocals and tracks, and then somebody doing like keys or backing vocals too. I've actually been struggling with that whole thing, because I had people interested, and then they've just kind of flaked out like 3 times now in a row, which is frustrating. But I'm like dying to do it live. I've got a set. I practice to it. And I'm just trying to find somebody that'll do it with me. And I'm fucking like, let's go. Let's start doing shows. Yeah.
How long has it been now since you played?
I've done a live thing since February of 2020. Yeah. That was, we played in downtown LA, Powerman, with Insane Clown Posse.
Yeah. Interesting. Very interesting.
It was pretty great. Yeah.
All right. So we'll take it back a little bit now. What got you started in music?
I initially wanted to play drums, and that's what I kind of started on. Well, that's what I started on. But no, I watched MTV all the time, and I love music, and I remember just after a while, you know, I started getting into like hard rock and metal and stuff, and early on, and I just started thinking drummers were cool, like Tommy Lee, you know, watching all those hair metal bands that had like their twirling sticks and their fucking giant kits with like chains and fucking, you know.
Yeah.
It was just cool. It was like rock star. I was like, man, I want to do that. And drums just kind of caught my attention. And so eventually I got a kit, and right around the same time, some of my buddies that I hung out with were getting instruments. One guy got a bass, another guy played guitar, and like so it kind of all just happened around the same time. And then when I got a drum kit, a couple buddies of mine came over, and we got a bass player and a guitar player, and we like jammed in my bedroom. And the first time we pulled off like doing like one part into another, I was like, I'm in, I'm hooked. It's the greatest thing ever. I was like, dude, this is the best thing. This is what I'm doing for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Whether it makes me money or not, I'm doing this. This is like fucking magical. So yeah, I was hooked from there, and I've just been doing it ever since, man.
So what before Powerman, like what bands had you been in?
So nothing like noteworthy. I mean, I did my own like instrumental guitar thing for several years. It was like a wannabe Joe Satriani, Steve Vai thing. Not cool at all. Especially at the time period, because I was like doing this sort of flamboyantly like 80s thing, and it was like, you know, 2004, 5, whatever.
That wasn't, and guitar solos weren't all that cool at that time, you
know. No, definitely not. And so, and I like, yeah, so did that for several years, and then I just got burned out on it, and I started getting more interested in just being in a band as a guitar player, you know, like an actual band with a singer and stuff. And this is like MySpace days. And then I ended up getting, I was wound up in this band for like a minute with this girl who was based in LA. I hadn't moved here yet. And her name was Megan McCauley, and she was signed to Wind Up, and she had an album out and like a song on like the one of those superhero movies around that time. She was on the soundtrack for that, and then Elektra or something. Anyways, I moved down here to be in her band. That blew up and didn't go very far at all. But AP from Gemini Syndrome, who's now in Gemini Syndrome, was the bass player in that band at the same time. And I met him then. He's a super nice guy. So did that imploded quickly. And then I was just doing I did this band called Requiem for the Dead in like 2010, 2011. There was like an all original like goth emo band. And that was with an old buddy of mine that was from high school that wound up in this band called I Am Ghost, and they had just split up. And
I saw them live actually.
Him and I linked up. Yeah, and he's my buddy from high school, Steve Giuliano. Yeah, the singer. And him and I linked up and wrote this album together, and then did that for a little while. And then him and I had a big falling out. It's all ego, stupid bullshit, whatever. It's all good. I was being an idiot too. But anyways, that album's out there. It's on iTunes. It's kind of silly, but it's out there. And there's a music video on YouTube for one of the songs. That's actually pretty cool. But did that fell apart, and then I was just like I did a couple bands in the Bay Area, like goth scene, industrial bands. Was playing guitar for other people's music. There was one called Limnus. Actually, the guy Jay that's in the latest video, the new Raygun video, he's playing keys, or mimicking the keys and stuff. He was the singer in that band, and that's how I knew him from like years ago. And so did that band, then was in another one called Suicide Queen. And then the Powerman thing came along. It just fucking fell in my lap out of nowhere. And then I moved to LA, and I was in Powerman until like a year ago. Yeah.
The Powerman gig, was that just kind of like Somebody who knows somebody kind of a thing?
Nope.
No?
I didn't know any of them. I was a total fanboy. I followed all their stuff. I commented on all social media. I went to shows. I'd never met Spider. I never met anybody in that band. I was just a fan. And then but I was very active, like I said, on their social media. I'd comment on stuff and, share that I got the new album or whatever. And one morning I was at work. I was at my crappy warehouse day job. And totally serious, man. And I was like on Facebook, not working. And I got this message from Nick Quijano. He was the guitar player at the time. And he's like, "Hey, Ty, do you have any video of you playing live?" I was just like, what? Like, why would this guy be messaging me? And I kind of had this, I'm like, okay, what's going on? Like,
Yeah.
am I getting
it's like, are you hacked? Are you hacked?
Yeah, I'm like, what is going on here? And but it was exciting too. I was like, yeah, whatever you want, man. And so then the next thing I know, he's like, "Hey, can you learn these songs and video you playing them and get it to me like tonight?" I was like, "Absolutely, whatever you want." Yes. And so I learned some songs and videoed them and sent them to him. And then he's like, "Hey, here's what's going on. We're, possibly getting another guitar or new guitar player. Can you get to LA for a rehearsal on Friday?" And I was like, "Yes." And so, but it was wild, man, because it was like nerve-wracking but exciting,
Sure.
So I just did my homework. I mean, I was working Monday through Friday, like 40 hours a week. So I'd get off work, just crank down and do my homework, and then I drove down after work on a Friday night and did an audition or whatever. I really didn't think it went that well. I kind of was like super nervous, and like, I mean, Spider's sitting right in front of me. Like,
Yeah.
All of a sudden, I had their posters on my wall at the time, so I was like, it was fucking wild. And so yeah, I did it, and like, I guess I did well enough because they asked me to come back, and I mean, I got the spot, and so I kept coming down for like, there was like a run of shows. It was like 5 shows that was happening like the next month, and they were like, "Yeah, let's practice and go to these shows," and and I stayed around. They kept calling me back. So yeah, man.
A little bit of a dream come true, huh?
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. It was like, absolutely. It changed my life. I got to do and see and do the thing that I daydreamed about my whole life at that point. I mean, I'd literally given up on like making it,
yeah.
or at least doing it in some professional level, or at least at that level. Like, I'd kind of let it go. Like, I was like, well, I'm, because I'm not a kid, dude. I'm like, I was almost 40 at the time, and I was like, shit, I tried, it's not happening. At least I have a good job, and I still play in bands on the weekend. And then that happened, and I was like, oh, okay,
It can still
let's
happen.
go. Yeah. Yeah, I was like, all right, let's do this. And yeah, man, it was awesome. It was I got to tour and play with bands that I, like I said, had their posters on the wall, had their CDs, watched the videos, you name it, man. Yeah, it was fucking great. Yeah.
Bad fucking ass, man.
Totally, dude. Yeah, man.
So was the ending of it just kind of more of a creative thing, or was there like a mutual party?
You know what? Honestly, it got kind of weird. And I really can't. It's like every time somebody asks me this, it's a very long-winded answer. There's not one specific thing that like happened. It was like a series of things over like, I don't know, several months, and then the long story short, it got weird between me and this guitar player that came on later on. This is my sort of main reason, because it got weird. There was a tour coming up, and I reached out to Spider because I missed some shows. There was a couple one-off shows earlier in late in 2021 that I couldn't do. I just gotten a job, and I hadn't worked in like a year and a half, and like I just gotten a job, and it was like saving my ass, and I was like, I can't just ask for time off. Like, I can't, and So they did some shows without me, that's fine. And as far as I knew, after that, everything was normal. Like it was still in the band text, and we were all talking, and it was all this business as usual. And then this tour came up months later. This is basically like a year ago this time, and I reached out to Spider because we hadn't like really talked since any of that happened, like directly to one-on-one and about things. You know, with just the group text. It's usually just people joking around or saying Merry Christmas or whatever. You know. So anyways, I reached out and said, hey man, tour's coming up. I'm rehearsing, ready to rock. And then it got weird. Then it was like, oh, well, let me talk to the guys and see if it's cool if you come back. And I was like, what? Like, come back?
Yeah.
Then I didn't know I was gone. You know, like, okay. And then he was like, oh, there's some people who like don't want you back. And I was just kind of like, he's like, but I can't say who. And I was like, what? All right. It was like, this is getting weird. What's going on? Like, I'd never, ever had any bad blood with anybody. I was one of the guys, as far as I knew. It's always a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always felt nothing but solid in the band, and got along with everybody, etc. So I guess that suddenly there was issues with my playing. I needed to work on this and gear stuff, and I was just like, it was very weird. It was very out of left field, and I was just kind of like, did I miss a memo or something? Like, what's going on? And so I played along. I did what was asked. As far as some issues with my playing and whatever, which was weird. There was and so then I got into the rehearsal room without Spider just to see how it felt. And one guy in particular was like really coming down to me hard about what the riffs I was playing, how to do things, and just the vibe was off. And I was like,
yeah,
it just felt totally different. And I was like, this isn't going to be fun anymore. I'm out. Like, I don't know what happened. I don't know why it happened. I'm like, but something's different, and like this won't be fun anymore. And if it's not fun, then I don't want to do it, you know. So there it is, man.
Yeah, there's the scoop.
There's the tea for you.
So we'll move on from Powerman.
Yeah, it's cool, man.
For the most part,
but I'm still cool. I'm still cool with. I still talk to Rattan, the drummer. I talk to, you know, I'm still cool with pretty much all of them. So there's no bad blood. It's all good. It just it got a little weird, and then but it's, you know, it's all good now. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's all that matters. You know, like as long as there's no bad blood, you know, and then nobody likes the drama. So, or at least I don't like the drama.
Yeah, so totally, man.
You're into the fitness and food and all that, right? So you are vegan, right?
No,
you're not vegan.
No, not vegan.
Okay.
No, definitely into working out and stuff. And I used to be like really hardcore about my diet and all that. Okay. And I've definitely like chilled out on that a bit and live life a little more these days.
Well, I was just getting to the point of like, when, you know, especially when you were with Powerman and you're on the road, you know, like how were you able to maintain the diet that you were trying to be on at the time, or, you know, like how was
that's a really good question, man. That's a good question, because I made it happen. Like when there was only one tour we were on a bus, and then it got weird because typically we're in a van and trailer and we're getting hotel rooms every night.
Yeah.
And which is great because 9 times out of 10 they'd have a gym, and then they'd have free breakfast in the morning. So like everyone else would sleep in, and I would like fucking get up early and like make sure I would get to the gym, I'd get my free breakfast. Like that was my thing, man. I made that happen. It didn't matter if we didn't get into the room until 3 a.m. and I didn't fall asleep until 4. I was like getting up and getting that workout in and getting that free breakfast. And they'd always have usually like eggs and like oatmeal, and like, you know, there were healthy options, you know. And and then I just, if you know, there's always a Subway, there's always a Denny's, and the Denny's usually has like a healthier option on there somewhere, you know. Be it fucking salmon and broccoli, or salad with chicken breast on it, whatever. I would, you know, I knew how to like kind of navigate through not great eating options, but there were definitely times where we're out in the middle of nowhere and all there is a gas station. So like, I mean, that happens a lot.
Yeah.
And I would just be like, all right, do they have muscle milk? Do they have, you know, trail mix? That's what I'm eating, you know, like that. I would just do that. So yeah, unless we were somewhere, and then there would be the treat of like somewhere in the Midwest that has White Castle, and I'd be like, we're definitely getting White Castle.
There you go.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I just kind of figured it out. Like the hotel thing was great because, like I said, they almost always had a gym. Sometimes they wouldn't, and that would be kind of like, okay, well, I'm not working out today, but I would get it in, man. And then the stage show was like really active. So you're jumping up and down for like an hour, you know? And so I would get my workout in and then be all sweaty at night. So it was cool, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Like, was that a concern? Like when you first started hitting the road pretty hard, were you like, fuck, how am I going to be able to maintain, you know?
Yes. Yeah. Cause I'm crazy like that. Yeah, man, it was. I was like, fuck. But I wasn't going to say no to it. I was like, you know, and there one tour that we did have a bus, I didn't get to work out because you're on the bus and there was no hotel rooms, and you know.
Yeah, and they're not going to stop for you to do that.
What's up?
And they're not going to stop for you to do that.
No. So like, there was maybe a couple times where we had that one for it's. I just had to suck it up and just not do it, but it was worth it because that tour was awesome. But there was a couple times we had like an off day and they got a hotel room and the place had a gym, and I just got one in when I could. But yeah. So
okay.
Otherwise, yeah, there was always some option, and I made it work, man. Yeah.
So what was one of the weirdest shows that you ever played?
Okay.
Where like everything was just wrong, or the crowd was weird, or just something.
Oh yeah. There's a couple, but off the top of my head, there was one that we did. This place called it was in Colorado, and it was like, shoot, I can't remember the name of it now. I have their T-shirt, but it was this tiny. I mean, I'm talking like. The band should not play there. It's like not a professional band.
Yeah.
It was like a hole-in-the-wall dive bar with like really not even a stage. They didn't have a sound system. They just like were not equipped for us to do it. And like Spider was like on the fence. He was like, I don't know, like we shouldn't even, you know, this might not even work. Like we were basically about to bail out of it because it was just so ill-equipped, and the place was just, you know, it was like a punk rock dive bar for like bands to just throw their gear on the floor and play, you know, which is fine. That's great. But so hours and hours go by, like we're trying to get somebody to bring a PA in and like a mixing board and like all this stuff, and the last hour, like we're just like, all right, we're doing it, and we loaded all. We couldn't even fit all our gear on the stage. We had to like stack like amp heads like on their side so they would fit. Like it ended up being fucking great. Like it like packed out. I mean, the place is small, so like, you know, people were crammed in. We played and it was actually super fun and everyone really liked it. So it started out looking grim and then it ended up being really fun. So
okay.
And we still, you know, some of the guys, like we still talk about that one. Like, dude, remember that show at that place? I can't remember the name of it right now. But anyways, that was cool. Started out weird, ended up cool. I'm trying to think about one that everything went wrong. I definitely had a couple shows. Oh, I got one. This was the first run of shows I did, and it was one of the biggest shows I've ever played. Like we did a couple smaller places, and then we had this festival show in Wisconsin at this outdoor show. It was with like Trapped and Starset and somebody else, can't remember, a couple other bands. And we were the headliner, and so I'd never stood in front of that many people. It was fucking like, I was like, oh shit, this is real. Okay. And we get up there, it's like the third show in, and I think my guitar, I went in to do this lead on the first song. That was Super Villain at the time, and I think my guitar was out of tune. Yeah, it was out of tune, like badly.
Yeah.
Like, and like I was like, oh fuck, and I couldn't stop playing, you know. because like we're going. I couldn't just stop. And the sound guy like heard it and he was like fucking with me, so we turned it up just to be like a dick. And I was like, oh my God. I'm like, what is going on? Like it's out of tune because it was outside and it kind of started sprinkling before we went on.
Okay.
So I think the weather like fucked with it or something. I don't know. And then so I'm freaking out. The next song comes up and what happened, man? They like I feel like something else happened in there too. And it was just bad. And Spider came up to me and he like during a song and like he's kind of joking around. He's like, is your guitar in tune now or something? I was like, oh my God, I'm so fired. And so I swapped the guitar and ended up finishing and it was fine. But there was like a minute there in the first couple songs where I was like, everything just sounded bad. And I was like, oh, this is not good. And I was panicking. I was definitely panicking. But it ended up being okay. So
all right.
That was not a fun moment, but makes for a good story, I guess.
Hell yeah. Those are always the best stories.
Yeah.
So what's the immediate goal right now? Just trying to get the band together for Raygun?
Yeah, so just trying to get more awareness and more people digging on Raygun and promoting it as much as I can, and then getting the live show together. You know, that's what I'm doing. I mean, I'm doing everything really. It's just me. It's not like I have any sort of management or PR or anything. It's just me and social, my social media accounts, and it's like, so I can only do so much, but I'm doing the best I can. So I'm just grinding away and trying to get people digging it and trying to get the live show going, and getting out there and doing it live for sure.
Can't wait for it, man.
Thank you, dude.
I'll be watching along on the sidelines, and then I'll try and do what I can to get people to listen as well. So,
dude, thanks. I appreciate it, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
It's been fun to see you on this ride. Going from joining Powerman and kind of.
Yeah, dude. You've been around for a while.
I've been around a while for sure.
Yeah.
How many times have you seen Powerman live before you joined them? Actually.
Let's see. The first show I came down because I was living in the Bay Area by San Francisco. I was from Santa Cruz. So I drove down to see them at the Viper Room in 2003, like right around when like Transform came out, because that's like what got me really into them. I came late, but so that was my first show, and then I saw them. I want to say, oh shoot, I had a couple of ill-fated trips to see them, where I went and didn't end up getting to go for various reasons. But anyway, so I think three times, and I think at least three. Yeah. So, and there was 2 other times that I should have, and it just didn't happen. So at least 3.
Okay.
Yeah. Quick story, dude. I road trip to Arizona in 2014 to go see Powerman open for Rob Zombie at this like horror event or something.
I remember that. I didn't go, but I remember that happening.
Okay.
I was like, ooh, like.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I'm totally going to that, and I was there to see Powerman. I didn't really care about Rob Zombie, but I went, and the traffic was so bad getting to the venue that we ran late, and I could hear Powerman playing, but I was stuck in traffic and couldn't get there.
Wow.
It was such a bummer,
man.
Yeah, I was like, damn it, but shit happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, hey, fate was right around the corner, right? So. Yeah,
totally, dude. So like a year later, I was like playing with them. So yeah, it was kind of crazy. Yeah.
Life.
Yeah, it's a trip.
So what would be your dream tour if you could just like put together a whole package?
Shit.
For you to play.
I'd say like Julian K. Getting to open for like Julian K, Churches, and the Birthday Massacre, something along those lines. That would be awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, because those are all like big influences, and so that'd be great.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I've seen Birthday Massacre. I want to say, I feel like it's been twice, but for sure once, and it was a long time ago too.
Yeah, they're great. Yeah, they're I've seen them a bunch of times actually. I've just loved that band for a long time. Super big influence. Yeah,
Love them. Well, anything for the fans out there, Mr. Ty?
Thank you for any and all support. Please check out the music, check out the videos, and just it means the world to me. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, one last question.
Stay tuned.
One last question.
I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
Where's the best tacos?
Oh, it's this place Quisados in Burbank.
Burbank?
I think that's how you pronounce it. It's really good. Holy shit. It's amazing. Yeah.
All right. I love it. All right, Ty, thank you for giving me your time. It's good,
man.
Good to talk to you. I hope to see you sooner than later. And
right on, brother. Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it.
I appreciate your music, appreciate everything you're doing, and always rooting for you.
Right on, man. Dude, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, dude.
All right, man. You have a fantastic day. You take care. Keep busy, and see you soon.
All right, man. Talk to you soon.
All right, man.
Later, brother.